Hey Oscar, thanks so much for the question. So just to answer your question, I'll show you on USD CAD. I just put out a video on TP Mint's channel showing a breakdown of the strategy, and that we called this position last week in our Discord. So I'll just use this one because it's happened recently. And what I did was I was saying the previous week on the Sunday that we were looking for a short trade on USD CAD on the weekly 1 hour time frame. So if you know that you're looking for that time frame pairing, the weekly 1 hour, what you would do is, well, I would set up an alert on the 1 hour time frame, and all that you'd be waiting for is this blue wave crossing up on plus 60. That will be letting you know that the entry is near. The actual entry is crossing down on the AEMA. That's when you'd actually be entering. You can set an alert for that as well after this has happened, but I mean, you probably want to be watching and waiting from that point onwards if you have the time available to you, of course. But that's definitely the one that I'd want to be setting, is the wave hitting the overbought or the oversold threshold for the time frame pair up that you're looking at. So on your entry time frame, in this case the 1 hour, what I've done on the alert setup, I've just changed, you'll change it to either crossing up or crossing down, depending on whether you're waiting for a long position or a short position. So crossing up, make sure you've got the light blue wave, so the fast wave, and then all you'll do is put in the value. It's either going to be negative 60 or plus 60. So in this case, plus 60, you can either set it to be once per bar or once per bar close. So one of those two. And then when that goes off, you know that it's getting really close to your entry, because then at that stage, all you're waiting for is price closing below the AEMA, and that is your entry. And you can also set up that alert afterwards. So setting up the alert on the price or whatever asset you're trading, again, changing it to crossing up or crossing down, depending on whether you're longing or shorting. And then changing that price button to the AEMA. And then again, you can say it's once per bar close. In this case, you only want to enter on the bar close, but if you want time to think about your position sizing and where you're going to place your stop loss and all of that stuff, you can place it once per bar. Just bearing in mind that it might give you some false signals. It might wick below the AEMA, and then the actual body of the candle doesn't close below the AEMA. So that's just something to be aware of. Like, don't front run the actual close of the body underneath or above the AEMA if you're longing or shorting. But if you need time to just think about your position sizing and all of that other stuff, you might want to do once per bar. Otherwise, I would do once per bar close. If you have got your trading account hooked up to some form of automation where this signal then places the trade for you, I would definitely do it on bar close. But yeah, so it's only really those two that I would look at, but mostly definitely the blue wave hitting either plus 60 or negative 60. And as for the time frames that you're choosing, that's also like a personal thing. Like, if you want to trade the 1 hour, 1 minute, then you'd be setting that up on the lower time frames, so the 1 minute. Whatever your entry time frame is, you're always setting it up on that. I mostly look at the daily and the 15-minute time frame and the weekly and the 1 hour time frame. So that's the time frames I'd be setting alerts up for if I was setting up those type of alerts. And TP Mint does have an indicator that does sequence those steps. It looks at everything you need. It looks at price being above the open of the higher time frame candle, and then it looks if the wave is hitting that overbought level and that price is closing below the AEMA. So it does try and sequence all of those steps before it sends an alert and actually print the label. But the actual indicator is not at a place fully where we're happy with it, because when it comes to reversals on the higher time frame, it does print the falling knife alerts and labels. So we're trying to clean up the indicators so we can not have that reversal period printing falling knives. So up until then, it's not really something we are advertising too much of. But you can see that it does basically combine all three conditions, and only once all three conditions are met in a certain sequence does it actually print that label and that alert will fire. So that's something I'm working towards. Then you wouldn't have to set up more than one alert, an alert for the wave hitting plus 60, an alert for price closing under the AEMA, it looks at all of those things, and only when they've happened in a certain sequence combined does it print the alerts. So that is something that we're working towards. Hopefully early next year we'll have that to a place where we are happy for people to start using it properly. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, mate. We appreciate the Q&A all the time. So if anyone else has any questions for us, just drop a comment down below. Thanks, guys.